Ladies and gentlemen, today we are live for a special Father's Day edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control. Our next race in the Do It For Dale series for the Busch series will take a trip to the Monster Mile at the Dover International Raceway for the running of the MBNA Race Parts 200. 200 laps, 200 miles around this 1 mile fast speedway slash short track, I guess you would say, with the length of it, but this is going to be an interesting race starting from the rear. No practice, no qualifying again. I'm not going to be doing too many more races like this, considering Dale Jr. is still outside the top 10 in the point standings right now coming into this race. The comeback is on. 2 races ago, we were 369 points out of first, but a win in a max points day at Richmond, and then a solid 6th place run at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in the last race a couple nights ago has led Dale Jr. from 15th in points now to 11th, and just barely over 300 points out. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we are about to get today's race started. Billy Carr, Joy, Mark DeMars, R6, welcome to the stream. And let's get this one underway today. Dale Jr. will be starting at the rear of the field. The green flag is going to be in the air, and we are underway. Brian Vickers on the pole, Cup Series regular at the front of the field. Dale Jr. looking to make a pass in the opening lap, opening turn, and does. This is likely going to be a very, very treacherous racetrack today, especially without any practice or qualifying. Jr.'s going to keep everything as smooth as can be. Easier said than done. It's going to be interesting to see how many cautions we might get in today's race as well. He's not really looking to pass the car in front of him right now. Doesn't feel comfortable with it. I guess I'll get to the inside on the backstretch. Never mind. It's going to get squeezed going into turn 3. A little contact. I don't know if I'd put the fault and the blame on Dale Jr. that time. Vickers was able to lead the first 2 laps of the race as well. 2 and 3 wide in the middle of the pack towards the front of the field. A little bit of a stack up on the back straightaway, and Dale Jr. is going to gain a ton positions down into turn 3. Not sure what happened there, but there's a big stack up, and Dale Jr. is up to 25th in just 3 laps. And he's got some open space to run. That was probably the easiest way he could have gained positions in this race. And now he's all by himself to get the feel of the race car again without any practice laps. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. Canadian Grand Prix. Formula 1 or IndyCar? I know doesn't IndyCar still race at Toronto? Maybe they don't since COVID. I don't know. I don't watch all the IndyCar races. Seriously though, what a start for Dale Jr. in 4 laps. From last to 25th with that stack up. He got around 1 car in the opening lap. And another car on lap 2, but lap 3 and 4, he was able to get around a ton more. No accident. Stay green. That was the best thing for Junior, because now he's quite a ways ahead of those cars, squeezing 1 car to the outside as he got a little bit tight in the center of the corner. Ran up into the side of that car. Second time he's made contact with somebody already in the race today. Going to clear a car cleanly that time. The pass for 23rd. Had a shot to potentially get underneath the 117 car as well, but he chose not to. He waited another corner, no look to make the pass of 1 and 2. It does seem like 1 and 2 is where Junior's making the clean passes. A little harder in 3 and 4 for whatever reason. With the handling of the 81, he seems to be a little bit tighter at this end of the track. Going down to protect that bottom lane with the 117 car behind him, but again, Dale Jr. picking up positions. Tony Raines in the 33 car towards the outside lane. Junior almost got sandwiched between both him and the 117. And the inside of Raines through 3 of 4. This is a very treacherous racetrack, I will tell you. The handling of this car is, I think, good for all intents and purposes without having practice and qualifying. I think I can get the hang of it eventually. But as a tire wear and the tires start to fall off, as you're going to see on this concrete surface today, it is going to create some very sketchy moments, I'm sure, throughout the pack. I doubt that this is going to be a race that's going to go caution-free. We have not had a caution-free Busch or Cup Series race yet, only in the Truck Series, and that was a 50% race at Charlotte, and it was only 67 laps. Definitely don't want to clip the apron here. I know most short tracks you can get away with it in this game, but with this being a very high-banked short track at Dover, speed's like an intermediate racetrack, but it really does have that short track feel to it. Really low exit to turn 4 for Dale Jr. That's enough to get underneath the 152. Will he have room to make the pass in turns 1 and 2? Looks like he does, and he does not make a mistake doing so, and he's already up to 20th after just 12 laps. I don't know if he was going to be able to pass every car quickly. I think the way he has passed those last 5 cars kind of here and there is probably how he was going to have to get through the entire field. One car left the bottom open. Junior squeezes underneath. Got into him. Maybe a little too aggressive trying to make that pass. It's the third car Junior's ran into already. Just 13 laps. He just really does not want to touch the apron of the track, so when he gets squeezed, he kind of goes up the hill a little bit as a safety precaution. Remember, though, if he causes an accident, he's going to have to pit without fuel or tires as kind of like a punishment, I guess. But so that is, especially if we're involved in it anyway. So Junior does not want to cause a yellow if he can help it. Pushes me to try to race clean. It's very tough to do on the short track, so especially an edgy one like Dover. Track position is king right now, and pole sitter Brian Vickers has led the first 15 laps of this race. Dale Jr. to the inside of Jamie McMurray in the 64. Into turns 1 and 2, McMurray really crowding Earnhardt. Earnhardt touches the apron. He was out of the gas not only when he hit the apron, but also before he got back into the gas. He made sure he slid back up onto the regular bank concrete surface on the actual racing line. That's probably why he didn't spin out that time. He felt he was getting squeezed by McMurray. He didn't want to make contact with him and didn't, but as a result, he couldn't get the position made, and now he makes the pass on McMurray. Jamie going to try a little crossover now. Junior's going to pinch him going into turn 3 and clear with a block. Oh, up the hill goes Earnhardt again. McMurray going to try again to the inside. Off turn 2. Contact. McMurray is battling Dale Jr. hard right now for the 18th place position. Jr. stuck on the outside again through 1 and 2. Squeezes McMurray with a little contact. These guys better be careful. Jr. does not want to give up the spot. The 152 car is on the bottom right behind McMurray, so if McMurray gets around in the 152, is probably going to get it underneath Jr. And I'm shocked that Junior's hanging on to the outside as well as he is right now without practice or qualifying. Had a great run off turn 4, clears McMurray. Now McMurray overdrives 1 and 2, and he's in danger of getting passed by the 152 car from behind. Oh boy. Try to dime in the corners more. It's hard to do when you have traffic around you, because you pull the risk of somebody get underneath you like McMurray did a little bit ago, and it's hard in traffic because of the dirty air. The car is a little on the tighter side. Hoping that clean air will help that. Make the pass on the 157. Thanks for tuning in though, R6. Michael Turner, see you in the chat as well. Early afternoon, Sunday afternoon live stream because there's no NASCAR Cup Series action today, similar to what you guys saw during the off-season on Sundays. Our Cup race at Dover will be tomorrow on the channel at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 400 laps around the monster pile is going to be quite crazy. That's a real tenth of strength of endurance. Good run for Dale Jr. off turn 4. He's underneath another car looking to make the pass into 1 and 2. Going to be clear. He actually kept his car low enough that in the middle of the corner, he also gets underneath the 18 of J.J. Yaley. Quick set of moves there into turn 3. Gets blocked by the car in front of him, and he did brake a little early, expecting that move was going to be made, so that way he didn't have a risk of getting chopped off with contact. Yaley just got in the wall off the exit of turn 4, causing the 103 car to check up behind him. Already 24 laps in with the race going caution-free. It means we are definitely flying through this. John Hamilton, second in points, lost the points lead after that last race. Earnhardt got loose that time, getting into turn 1. I thought he was going to get even looser when he clipped the apron. That wasn't the case. Hamilton just brushed the wall off the exit of turn 4 up ahead. But Labonte makes an even bigger mistake in turns 1 and 2, and Hamilton will still get by him for position. Junior cuts underneath Labonte off turn 4. Labonte trying to side draft Junior in the middle of the front straightaway. To no avail. Junior will make the pass on Labonte. Had to lift quite a bit though off the exit of turn 2. He felt like the car was going to want to shoot upwards towards the wall. Still able to stay in front of the 19 car. New leader at the front of the field, Kenny Wallace, after Brian Vickers has lost the lead after leading the first 26 laps of the race. Wallace going to lead lap 27. Taking it away from the Cup regular Vickers. And I guess Kenny Wallace is a Cup regular too, if you think about it, because he's running full-time in the 00 for Michael Waltrip Racing. So from one Cup regular to another now leading. Yeah, it might not have looked like much with that big save, but it was something. It wasn't a massive slide. That's probably why I was able to catch it. Again, if you are out of the gas when you touch the apron, and then you stay out of the gas until you get back onto the racing surface, then the car won't spin out. The problem that we run into is we're on the gas when we touch the apron, and that's where it causes an issue. Or if we are out of the gas when we first touch the apron, but we get back into the gas while we're still on the apron, that also kind of spins the rear wheels a little bit more. And that awkward transition with the banking to the flatness of the racetrack down on the apron, or the flatter portion of the racetrack on the apron. Good exit to turn 4. Dale Jr. going to look low for 12th. And I have to say, though, it definitely seems like the 81's got a really fast race car. Hence why he has made so many passes so early in the race. Again, if it wasn't for that stack up and him getting past 18 cars in the first 4 laps of the race off the exit of turn 2 on lap 3, I don't think that he would be up in 12th already. Probably be in the top 30, but I would not be surprised if he wasn't even in the top 20 yet. We'll check up in the middle of 1 and 2 ahead of Dale Jr. Allowed for him to get underneath Michael Jourdain Jr. Jr. popped the wall. Michael Jourdain Jr. that is. And Dale Jr. got out of the gas to keep from getting into the side of him. That's why the 10 car is able to keep his position. I'm scared to loosen it up though, because it's a longer race. I'm telling you guys, if the car looks tight, as long as it's not overly tight, I will deal with it. If I know there's going to be a shorter run to the end of the race where I'm not going to have to worry about like older tires again, then that's when I, maybe tend to make a major adjustment. But it's hard to make major adjustments in full races, especially when we're only 35 laps into the run, not even halfway on fuel yet. So there's still a second half of this run to go. So the air pressure starts to build up. It could loosen the car up over the course of time. Heavy traffic obviously is going to cause more of a dirty air effect as well, which definitely doesn't help with the tight race car. It's definitely not unbearable. Yeah, if I were going to make any adjustments, it would be at the end of the race as of right now, or obviously if the other cars seem to be getting quicker, especially in the longer run, make a mistake. Right now, Dale Jr. is mistake-free, and he has already passed a lot of race cars in this one, 30 of them to be exact. Gets underneath Michael Jourdain Jr., a little contact, but Dale's going to make the pass. Going to try to get team orders for Martin Truex Jr. up on the outside to hold up. That's going to allow Dale Jr. to pass 2, maybe 3, yes, 3 cars through 1 and 2. Dale Jr. to 8th. Big move. Team orders allowing Martin Truex Jr. to get by Dale Jr. It also stacked up Ryan Newman, Michael Jourdain Jr., and that 133 car back there on the outside for Jr. to get through 3 cars in the middle of the corner, and he was already side by side with Jourdain off turn 2. That lap before. Both the Chance 2 Motorsports coming off top 10 finishes, finishing 6th and 9th at Charlotte. In the last race, Jr. towards the outside, cuts down the middle of the corner, gets underneath Shane Meal in the 32. Doesn't complete the pass, but he should going into turn 1 for 7th. Dale Jr.'s bread and butter has been the short tracks this season. His only 2 wins have come on tracks less than 1 mile in length at Richmond, and on a 3/4 mile short track, and at the 3rd race of the year at the UPS Speedway, which was a half-mile short track. So Dale Jr., of course, running well on a 1-mile track, which races like a short track, no surprise. Overdrove turn 1. Got into the side of the 21 car just a bit of Miller. You're starting high, gonna diamond cut that corner off the exit. A lot of bottom open, but Jr. didn't try to take it that time. 21 right in front of him. Way up the hill goes Earnhardt. One car might have grazed the wall off turn 4. I think that may be Carl Edwards in the 60. Meanwhile, Dale Jr. will pass Miller for 6th. All clear off the exit of turn 2. And Miller got in the wall that time in the dirty air after the 81 slid up in front of him. Clint Boyer, coming off a win in the last race, has 3 wins this year, along with Cup regular Carl Edwards. Dale Jr. looking for his 3rd win of the season today to match those 2, make it a 3-way tie for the most. Jacob Givens, welcome to the stream. Thoughts on Fox's production of the truck race yesterday? It was terrible. I did live commentary for the truck race, and a lot of people were saying in the chat there towards the end of the race about the wrecks from the 22 and the 62, which I had no idea of. So I didn't go on the internet at all because I was strictly just watching the race. So that definitely could have been better commentary last night if I had better replay cameras. And maybe the same could go for the actual Fox booth too, because I don't even think they were at the track. Side by side. Oh, near wreck off of turn 4. It's contact between Kenny Wallace and the car that got underneath him, who is actually, I don't think it is Carl Edwards. Whoever it was, they made contact. That allows Vickers to get away after he took the lead a couple laps ago again. And Dale Jr. closing in on the cars in front of him all of a sudden because of it. Kens it to 3rd. Jr. looking underneath Clint Boyer for 5th potentially. Not quite underneath him yet. One car going to go wide. Going into turns 1 and 2. Will get passed by Boyer because of it, as well as Dale Jr. Jr. in the top 5 for the first time today. I don't understand why Fox can't send them out to the racetrack. Caution's out. First time today. Oh, boy. Jr. got loose after the yellow. Caution's out for the first. Oh, wow. Big wreck at the back. The 133 car pulling a page out of Brett Moffitt's book and then gets slammed in the rear driver window. The rear window, the 133 got hit by an oncoming car, causing a big accident, a flip at Dover nonetheless, bringing out the first caution of the day. Nobody is going to pit except for Dale Jr. from 4th. This is interesting. He's going to top off on fuel. He's going to take that first set of tires, and Jr. is going to go to the back of the pack. Yeah, that's also true about the pit reporters not mentioning anything on the 62 and the 22. It is kind of hard to see all aspects, though, from the infield. That's why whenever I go to the racetrack, even though I've had infield access for the truck race at Daytona, I didn't want to watch the race from down there because although it would have been cool to see live pit stops up close and everything, you know, like with the teams up close in person, you would have only been able to see one section of the track. So I don't really blame them. I'm surprised I didn't get reports, though, or an interview with Moffitt after he exited the infield care center. He could have talked about the wild ride or something, but yeah. Surprised there weren't any driver interviews outside of Hocevar's engine failure last night. Even the couple times they tried to radio him up from the booth, they unfortunately couldn't get communication with anybody. One car blowing up at the back of the pack, trying to get to the bottom of the track, and he can't really do it right now. Stuck on the outside lane. He's going to squeeze down to the bottom. Finally down there. We'll see if he can drop to the apron, which he will. There's no apron on the back straightaway, so it's going to be tough. Whoever that is going to drop an engine. That's a spot for Dale Jr. Jr. has fresher tires right now, but again, it's so hard to pass at Dover. 3 wide. Going into turn 1, Jr. taking the fresh tire advantage and passing both race cars. Only kind of circumstance you're probably going to see 3 wide today. Not only on a restart, but with the 81 having much fresher tires than the 2 cars he was passing. And considering they were at the back of the pack too, definitely helped. I have to watch to see if there's another stack up like there was a few laps into the initial start of the race. Oh, big contact! Junior moved across the front bumper of that generated fantasy driver and almost turned himself. He was not clear. It would have been harder to catch that on older tires with the lack of grip, and I think that's why he was able to keep the car from sliding big time. Really low exit to turn 2. Should be able to drive right back around him into turn 3 and does. Now, coming into this race, I was thinking it was going to be a 2-stop race today, and that's why I pitted during that caution flag and gave up the track position from 4th place. But this could be a 1-stop race today all of a sudden. I think that's why everybody else stayed out. The contact from the 117 running into the side of Earnhardt in the backstretch. He was trying to side draft him and got a little too aggressive with it. So Dale Jr. still has not led a lap today. Clint Boyer is going to get to the lead for the first time as he's trying to win back-to-back races. Surprised the AI didn't pit. I'm surprised too. I was kind of committed on pitting, but when the top 3 stayed out, I didn't really have too much of a chance to try and say no pit. I had to make that decision up pretty quickly. So I had the icon over pit and was kind of waiting, but ended up making the decision anyway. So it means Dale Jr. is going to be able to stay on the track a lot longer than everybody else. If we do cycle all the way through green flag stops. Passing a bunch of cars right now. We're stuck on the outside. Drives it underneath Jamie McMurray in the 64. McMurray's really falling way to the back right now. In the 35th position. Jamie McMurray. The Cup regular in the Busch Series. One car in the wall on the outside off turn 4. Junior picking up spots on the bottom. Starting to really get some good momentum going for himself right now. towards the bottom again. Contact. I didn't realize they were exactly side by side. I guess they were 3 wide. Everybody made it through. Originally on the weekly streaming schedule, yes, that was the original time. I was going golfing with my dad and my sister today for Father's Day, and I couldn't get a tee time until 2:40, so that's why last night I made the announcement during the live stream of both the Knoxville heat races and the Knoxville main event race when I was doing the live commentary that I was going to start the race at noon today, and it was going to have to be the Busch Series race. Cup race will be tomorrow at 6. So a little bit of a reschedule there. Dale Jr.'s got a rival just a few cars in front of him right now. 1 caution flag so far. 65 laps in. Clint Boyer is the leader. He's the 3rd different leader in today's race. Jr. to the bottom, 3 wide. All the way through turns 1 and 2. Down towards the apron, off the exit of the corner. Contact with the 2 cars behind him as the 113 got squeezed into the wall. That was a rival of Dale Jr. That was the best chance to get around him. That's why he took it 3 wide. It worked out. Another 3 wide off turn 4. Back behind him. They're in the wall again with some contact. Those guys are about ready to wreck back there. 2 corners in a row. They've made severe contact with one another off the exit of the turn. Junior's still picking up spots. Up to 23rd on the fresher tires. One will the field pit. It's going to be a one-stop race today. Ooh, Junior in the wall for the first time. And he's going to lose a spot because of it. Oh, 1 car nearly gets turned off the exit of turn 2, so he lost 1 spot getting into the wall himself. And a net gain of 1 total as he passed 2 more on the back straightaway. And quickly gets right underneath the 163 on the front stretch. Drives it in deep into 1 and 2, and he'll clear him. To 21st. Just less than 5 seconds off the lead. Vlog from St. Louis should be uploaded tomorrow. I should get done editing it either tonight or tomorrow morning. Off this weekend. I had my phone situation last week for those of you that probably already know. And the regulars of the channel, so that's why it never got uploaded last weekend like I was planning on it. I didn't announce that I was going to upload it last weekend though, so that's okay. At least by... That's why I didn't want to make an announcement of when exactly I was going to get it uploaded. I should have ended up doing it last weekend, but I ended up having from what was going to be a lot of time to be able to do it to no time at all. I think 2 stops, depending on strategies. Well, Junior's on the 2-stop strategy for certain. He definitely can't make it to the end. Not going to be anywhere close. Everybody else may be thinking with that caution they were able to save a few laps of fuel, the 3 caution laps. And there's the 133 car who flipped, but is still running. I don't know which fantasy driver hit him off the exit of turn 2 after he ended up in the wall. I'm not even sure how he wrecked in the first place either. He was up on his side and then got hit in the rear window and ended up toppling over off the exit of turn 2. So 1 big wreck at Dover today. 3 wide, it looks like, going into turn 1. Junior with a slide job up the hill. Going to clear them both. Little too tight, though, off the exit of the corner, and he had to lift. And one of those cars he passed gets back underneath him, and Junior stuck on the outside into turn 3. And he's going to let the 133 go, as he didn't want to be stuck on the outside. Off the exit of turn 4 again, playing it smart. He knows he's got fresher tires. He can get right back around these guys. Makes a move to the inside. And should have them both back in about a lap's time total from when he originally lost those 2 positions after gaining them. So he's back to 19th. 133 got Casey caned. Car behind Dale Jr. just popped the wall off the exit of turn 2. Truex is outside the top 10 now. Junior to 17th. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. From work, thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in. That's pretty cool when I hear you guys going out of your way to tune into the live streams on the channel. It gives me that warm feeling inside. So I really appreciate that. Not saying you have to go above and beyond and for everybody to necessarily do that, but if you have the capability to do that, that's awesome. Junior underneath Aaron Crocker in the 6. Oh, we got tight. Contact with Crocker into the wall. Around goes Dale Jr. and gets turned in front of the field. Oh, jeez. His hood flew off somewhere after one of the couple hits he took. And we have our second yellow of the race. He got stuck on the 6 car after getting tight off the exit of turn 2 and couldn't get off of Crocker and causes a big accident. Lots of debris. Turn 2, Calamity Corner today, and that is the second caution of the race. Everybody stays out again. Junior can't pit for fuel or tires being involved in that accident. I would not be surprised if we see some debris yellows. That's the risk you have being in the mid-pack, though, after pitting during that first caution. He had the track position earlier in the race, chose to take fresh tires, and it definitely bit him over the long haul. I wonder if Junior's going to be without a hood the rest of the race. No, okay, so they were able to put a replacement hood on with the sponsorship still. Luckily, Dale Jr. did not DNF because those were some hard hits. There was nowhere for anybody to go right off the exit of the corner. And we'll have a restart at lap 82. This is going to save more fuel for those drivers trying to stretch this race into one stop. Yeah, Miles the Monster got those cars off of turn 2. Another big wreck. First one was a 2-car accident earlier, but one car flipped. And that time, I don't even know how many cars were involved. It seemed like quite a few of them. And Junior to the back again. And now his fresh tire advantage probably gone with that spin. Tires are probably shot. And with the damage, that's probably going to slow the car up as well. And I don't know if he's going to have a race-winning car on speed like he did earlier in the race anymore. It's a huge disappointment for Dale Jr. When do you pull the trigger and pit, though, if we see debris cautions right around the halfway mark? Can you make it on fuel from maybe now to the end of the race? Nobody else pitted during that caution, so I don't know that they would have been able to make it there. Contact on corner entry again for Dale Jr., locking up the brakes to keep the car from getting into the wall that time. It's the 82 car that was outside he made contact with. Contact and 2 cars got together going into the wall into 1 and 2 from behind. And caution somewhere on the track, debris again. Our third caution of the race, and it's off the 133 car, who actually flipped earlier in the race and then had a big hit in that wreck too. So he is still running despite being involved in 2 accidents and flipping once earlier in the race. Unbelievable. Junior will pit. What will be the strategy call from the rest of the field? Will they stay out or will they pit? Jr. coming in. Everybody else still staying out. So 3 yellows. They've all stayed out. Dale Jr. will pit again. He has 2 sets of tires left at the end of the race with pitting now. Not going to make any adjustments yet. We'll see how the car will handle on fresh tires with the damage. Pit and loosen the car up. I'm not going to loosen the car. I am stubborn on that. I'll have fresh tires, so that'll be big. I'd have to imagine the field has got to be close to their pit stop, but they also have to be thinking they can't make it on field at the end of the race from right now. Dale Jr., if we stay green to the end, can he make it on fuel from pitting right now? Is that possible? It's a strategy call he is willing to take. Gonna go to work on the restart, try to get as many spots as possible. Boyer leads to the restart, green flag back in the air. Over 110. Lap 90 right now. Will we get any more debris cautions? Will be the next question. And again, when will the field pit? Cautions out again. Lap 90, our 4th of the race. Are they within the window now to make it? More debris off the 133 car again. Now the entire grille and the hood of the race car is wide open. Dale Jr. will pit again. He's going to go fuel only unless everybody else stays out. Again, the field stays out. Junior will pit for tires, might as well. He's got 2 sets left. I don't think he is going to need more than that, I should say. So another 4-tire stop for Dale Jr. He'll have 1 set of tires left after this stop. So if he does have to pit again to the end of the race, he will have that option to take tires. So Dale Jr. pitting again. Gives him a few extra laps of fuel that he had in the car before that caution. Can he make it from here to the finish? I'm surprised they have not pit yet. They've been able to save fuel 4 cautions worth. So maybe they can make it on 1 stop. Maybe. Green flag back in the air. Junior's definitely going to have to watch to see if any cars are going to pit really at any given time. So as soon as that window opens to the end of the race, I'm sure cars will hit pit road. And he is going to be ready for it. So get up to speed at Dover. Clint Boyer still out in front. He's led a lot of laps during these caution flags that have come out. Junior hasn't pushed a lot of laps out of his tires today. I think 48 is the most laps he's ran on 1 set of tires in this race. So that can definitely be problematic as well, at least for himself. Made a pass. 4th position, looking to make another one. Fresher tires, trying to get through as many cars as possible. Off the exit of turn 2, no stack up, and it sounds like there's cars pitting according to the crew chief. Off the exit of turn number 2, he's going to go to the outside. A couple cars right in front of him that made a little bit of contact. Does Dale Jr. have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race if it does stay green to the finish? Miller out in front for the first time today, scoring 5 bonus points after some of the leaders pit. Boyer just pit from the lead. Sure, more cars will be on their way in now, and they are. These cars pitting just shot halfway. Maybe this is all the further they could go. They still have to pit again to the end of the race. We don't know. We know Dale Jr. could go quite a ways. So if we get a caution at any point in time in the second half of this race and Jr.'s leading, he could trap the field a lap down, and then he could choose to pit again if he would like and still have the lead. And have fresher tires. Just being patient. He doesn't want to run into anybody. Can't cause a caution. Makes a pass for 11th in turns 1 and 2. More of the leaders will be in their pit boxes this time by. Junior went to the outside as a safety precaution. Got good turn off the exit of turn 4 to get underneath Jamie McMurray now on the front straightaway. And going to get underneath another car into turns 1 and 2. Contact up the hill. Junior's car with the damage is definitely not handling that great right now. Can't be involved in the accident, or he can't pit for fuel or tires anyway if we did see a late yellow. Miller will pit from the lead. 99 to go this time by. Junior going to make another pass for position. I'll have to pause it and retrieve a trivia question for you guys today. So let me pause it as soon as I get to the back straightaway. And I'll look up a trivia question for all of you guys. Xfinity Series. Kind of an easier question, just having to find one on the fly. So I have retrieved the trivia question for tonight. Wait, Solinsky, welcome to the stream. Since it's Dover, the immediate answer is Jimmy Johnson. Tonight's trivia question on the channel and Dover Track Fact is an Xfinity Series question at Dover because, of course, we were racing in the Busch Series, which is now called the Xfinity Series. Who's the only driver in Dover history to win 4 straight Xfinity Series races at this racetrack? That is tonight's trivia question. 4 straight Dover races. Who has been able to do it? That is tonight's trivia question. I do think somebody will get it right eventually. But if not, you guys have to lap 115 to get the answer correct. Dale Jr. just led his first lap of the race at lap 104 at the start-finish line. Still some of the lead lap cars have to pit yet. He's on the bottom, got really loose into turns 1 and 2 on the apron as one of the lap cars really squeezed him. I think it was the 82 car. Mark DeMars did get the answer correct to tonight's trivia question. Joey Logano is the only driver in NASCAR Xfinity Series history to win 4 straight Xfinity Series races. It was in the early 2010s with Joe Gibbs Racing. 4 straight for Logano. Joji, I see you in the chat as well. Thanks for tuning in. I think it was the first guess from anybody in the chat, too. So Mark DeMars got the answer correct. Figure it was an easy question. Usually those questions are a lot easier when I have to look them up on the fly like that. I don't want to waste too much time. Dale Jr.'s got a 1-lap lead on the field. And if you're just tuning in wondering why that is the case, it is because Dale Earnhardt Jr. had pitted during the last caution flag at lap 93. Nobody else pit. We went green at lap 96. So Dale Jr. is going to have to go exactly 105 laps on fuel to the end of the race to try and win this. So it has turned into a fuel mileage race with the way the cautions have played out today at Dover. Can Dale Jr. make it to the finish and win this race? These are the first laps he has led today, and he may actually have a chance to lead the most laps today just by leading all these laps to the end of the race, whether he wins or not, and has to pit a few laps shy of the finish. 91 laps to go right now. Caution was flowing by pretty quickly until we had our first yellow, and we had 4 cautions in the span of about 40 laps, but now things have calmed down a little bit. We just had green flag pit stops. The field seems as if they may be able to make it to the end. They pitted a couple laps after that last restart, about 2 laps after the fact they started hitting pit road. So we'll see if Dale Earnhardt Jr. will have enough fuel. He may be a couple laps short, who knows. 105 laps is a long way to go at Dover. Comment in the chat down below, do you think I'm going to make it on fuel or not? In the meantime, we'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. About a 6-lap stretch. After that, we'll take our first field pass and see where Martin Truex Jr. is at after green flag pit stops had cycled through. What a big brain move this is going to be from the 81 crew, though, if that caution comes out. After damaging a car in the second yellow earlier in the race, he probably doesn't have speed capable of winning this race anymore. This is the only chance to win it, is to go off strategy and try to win the race on fuel mileage. But the great luck he has had on short tracks already this season in the Busch Series, I would not doubt that he can make it. It's going to be on the edge for sure. And we'll have a better gauge once Dale Jr. hits halfway on fuel with how many laps to go that will be, on whether he will try to risk it or not. And if there is a caution, yeah, that will trap the field a lap down. So that is another benefit with this strategy, is Dale Jr. could go pretty close to the end. Even if he can't make it, if we get a yellow anytime before he would have to pit, that would trap the field a lap down. He could then pit. He has 1 set of tires left to the end of this race yet, so he could take tires as well. And that would be the winning move. And obviously, yes, as he stated as well, R6, in that case, I would make it on field to the end. Can't believe the only laps we may lead today, even if we lead the most, is going to be off of the fuel mileage strategy at the end of the race to win. There's a revolving door of different leaders even before those cautions and green flag pit stops came about. That allows for Junior to still lead the most laps with this strategy in the second half of the race. Clint Boyer led a lot, probably led the most, but I don't think he led more than 60 laps. Dark Crypto saying risk it and go on. That is the plan. Dale Jr. needs to have a good points day, so this is very risky. He could either play the strategy game out perfectly, play the risk perfectly, and get the win, get a max points day potentially as well with the strategy, or he could end up having a bad finish and lose way more points. He's over 300 back, 11th in the standings. We only have 21 races to go in the Busch Series season after this. And remember, it is a season-long points format. Go big or go home. There we go. This is going to be very, very close. Who doesn't like a good fuel mileage race? It could get, you know, pretty boring if it happens over and over again, but that's the excitement of it, is it's rare that something like this happens. It's usually a once every couple season kind of thing. And we may have it in our Busch Series season. I don't know that we've had a fuel mileage race like this in NASCAR 06 yet. I think we've had enough cautions where it's kind of wrecked the fuel mileage game, and we still could have a yellow. There's 80 laps to go, and we've had 4 of them in the first half of the race. And our longest green flag run's only 48 laps to start the race off, so even if we run about another 20 laps, 25 laps or so, this is going to be the longest green flag run of the day. Junior closing in on the cars in front of him right now. We're going to see where Martin Truex Jr. is at back in the pack first. Take our first field pass of the race today. Truex is in 10th place, so he is back in the top 10 at least. We'll ride with him for a couple laps. He stayed out of trouble so far. Fuel mileage race at Pocono was entertaining. Yeah, it was. Texas in 2020 as well was pretty fun. See if Kyle Busch was going to be able to make it to the end when nobody really thought he had a shot, pitting when he did to make it, and he got his only win of the season. That was probably the only bright spot with Texas in the 550 package era, or just since the repave era, really, in 2017. Nearly 3 wide in front of Truex. We'll go back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. now. And Dale Jr. was able to get around his rival in recent laps, so good thing for him. Won't have to try to deal with him, hopefully, anymore the rest of this race. Got around him cleanly, I'd assume. Fuel mileage at California in the Cup Series. And oh, yeah, you're right, you're right. We did have one in the Cup Series. And Dale Jr. did win. That is correct. I forgot about that. We haven't had one in the Busch or Truck Series. We have had one in the Cup Series. You are correct. That was when I was completely trash at this game, too. I lucked into that one. That was the only way I was ever going to win a race that early into the gameplay in any of the 3 series on this game. And sure enough, it came in the second race in the Cup Series. Dale Jr. trying to make a pass on Aaron Crocker in the 6. Got to complete it. 131 car right in front of Dale Jr. Blocked him on the back straightaway, trying to hold him up as much as he can. KFB won both fuel mileage races. Pretty good. That is very true. He did win both of those races. I think he has a fuel mileage win at Pocono in the mid-2010s, too, if I'm not mistaken. That was with 2 different crew chiefs, nonetheless, as well. So, yeah, he's pretty good at trying to save some gas. He's also lost one at Pocono. I remember Kenseth winning one of the fuel mileage races there. The lap car cleared by Dale Jr. A lot of clean air in front of him. That'll help the handling of the race car for a little bit longer. If Jr. can make it. Obviously, he's hoping it stays great to the end. Just end all drama now. Trap the field a lap down. If he... I should say if he can't make it, end all the drama now. Bristol had a fuel mileage race, had to pit late. That is true. It wasn't as much of a fuel mileage race because I was way shorter on fuel than what I thought. I think I was like 4 laps short. And if I remember correctly, I think I knew I was short. I didn't think I was as short as I was. I thought I was going to have... I thought I was really about a lap or 2 short on fuel, and I was 4 laps short. Otherwise, I would have pitted a couple laps prior to running out. Just had to go like the full length of the track when I did run out of gas. Patrick Shadley, welcome to streaming. Yeah, happy Father's Day again to all the dads out there watching the stream or not. 14 viewers currently watching. Hit that like button. Only 8 likes on the stream so far. Definitely smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new for more daily NASCAR content. We had the live race commentary, the heat races, and the main event race last night at Knoxville. I know Fox's coverage was bad, but I thought the race itself was pretty good, to be completely honest. One of the better dirt races that the Truck Series have put on since they started racing on dirt in the early 2010s at Eldora. "66 laps to go this time by." Alternate through the different camera angles one final time in today's race. Again, Junior was involved in the second yellow of the race a little bit earlier on in the day. This is a little bit before lap 80. Overdrove 1 and 2 when he was battling Aaron Crocker for 11th at the time on fresher tires. Didn't clear Crocker, and up into the wall they both went, and Junior spun as a result. This is his only shot to even be competitive enough to try and win this race with the damage and the slower cars to try and win on fuel mileage. Outside of the fact that Junior's got a 1-lap lead on the field, I don't know exactly how far behind him second place may be. On fresher tires, trying to run Dale Jr. down. Definitely have to be committed to the strategy, though, if you are Earnhardt. And again, a genius move. Even if a caution comes out, he could pit then, and the field would be trapped a lap down. Gain any extra points in the field with the field? No. I wish we did. I wish, like, margin of victory mattered. That'd be kind of cool. It's like if you win by, like, 10 plus seconds, you get even more bonus points for just shellacking the field. Even though this one wasn't necessarily speed that's going to give us a win. We didn't lead any laps in the race prior to this. So the second half, after everybody already made their first and what seems to be only stop. Those drivers that made it past halfway, though, are they going to have enough to the end? Or are they just able to save that much because of the cautions? I wouldn't doubt if a yellow came out that Junior wouldn't be the only car to hit pit road. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race now. 60 laps to go at Dover. Still get a good finish? I don't know, though, because we were only in the 30s position-wise when the pit stop started. We have to be losing time to the faster cars on fresh tires. So if I do have to pit before the end of the race, I don't necessarily think we're going to have a great finish with it. Well, I think Dale Jr. has to be committed to making it on fuel or just pitting when the caution comes out, trapping the field a lap down. All I need is a splash. I mean, that's also true, but I also don't know what the tires are going to fall off. Like, Dale Jr. has only ran as far as 48 laps on a full tank so far in the race today. Got a little tight. Up the hill he goes. Somehow there's no contact. And I'm surprised he didn't get ran into from behind either. 117 lightly grazed the wall on the outside, but that was about it. And I think I may see Clint Boyer back there closing in on this group of lap cars, so he is definitely well quicker than Dale Earnhardt Jr. on his fresher tires. Jr. lifts off turn 4 to keep it off the wall again with the dirty air behind the 117. He really needs to get around this car quick so he can get that clean air back again. Looks low off turn 2. Has a run into 3. Been better at passing in turns 1 and 2 earlier. Got squeezed down towards the apron. Had to lift quite a bit. Now a car up on his outside again. And here comes Clint Boyer in the 2. Trying to get his lap back. On his fresher tires. Junior going up the hill. So now if a caution comes out, he wouldn't even trap Boyer a lap down anymore. Boyer to the inside into turn 3 underneath Dale Jr., who was struggling in lap traffic on his older tires. And that has allowed Earnhardt to give Boyer his lap back. Does Boyer have enough time on about 20 lap pressure tires plus Dale Jr.'s damage to run down Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the end of this race? It's 22 seconds off the lead with this being a 1-mile racetrack. Junior halfway out of fuel at lap 147. Again, we went green with 105 laps to go, which means he may be just a bit short on fuel to the end of the race, but he has to be committed from now to the finish. He's definitely not going to cycle back to the lead if he has to take a splash and go with Boyer being back on the lead lap. And who's to say other cars on the lead lap are going to race their way around the 81 of Earnhardt as well. And a caution wouldn't even guarantee that Dale Jr. would keep the lead either. Actually, he wouldn't unless Boyer pitted with him and he won the race off of pit road. So Junior looks to be just a tad short on fuel to the end of this race. He's going to have to go a little bit over 53 laps for when he hit halfway out of fuel. The risk is if you save and you still run out, you're going to give up even more positions at the end. Plus, Boyer's on the lead lap, so he may actually catch Earnhardt if he tries to save too much on overall speed. 50 laps to go. And calm before the storm. This 200-lap, 200-mile race at Dover, a fuel mileage race for the 81 of Dale Jr. If I'm going to save, I'm going to wait towards the end of the race to save. If I know that Boyer's not going to be able to have enough time to run me down. Because I'm scared I save too much now and he's just going to run us down. Especially if Junior continues to struggle in lap traffic. Again, even the slower lap cars have fresher tires than him, so even if he's got a faster car because of just better equipment, he's not going to be able to have an easy time to get around him as he has obviously struggled already. Dirty air going to affect it that much more. Odds are against me. Odds are against us and everything. Yeah, it is. Junior just got in the wall off of turn 2 as well. That's another mistake. Going to lose a little bit more time. Boyer down to about 22 seconds even off the lead. I think with the pace that Junior is running right now, I don't think Boyer's going to run him down if he keeps this pace up. I don't know if I want to caution more or want this to stay green. Yeah, we can make it on fuel. At least, like, with a caution, it would solidify us in a good finish. I don't know that we'd have the car to get around Boyer at the end, but even with fresher tires, just because of the damage, at least we maybe have a shot still. And it would trap, again, everybody from basically second on back, a lap down. Boyer's the only car outside of course, race leader Dale Jr., who is even on the lead lap right now. So at least that would solidify us likely a top 2 finish if we saw another caution. Might ruin the chances of winning the race. I don't know what other chances we really have right now other than trying to stretch it on fuel when it seems like we're about a lap or 2 short, if not more. Dale Jr. underneath the 117 car again. Last time he got a little out of shape, had to lift. This time he clears him on the first reattempt, I guess, to pass the 117 car. Back to having clean air in front of him. And we'll see where Martin Truex Jr.'s at in the field one final time, our final field pass of the race. Last time we saw him, he was in 10th place. Now he is up to 7th. Quite a ways yet behind Dale Jr. for the time being. This car's handling much better. The 81, just in the first lap of driving his Truex. A lot fresher tires, of course. We'll go back to Dale Jr. for the remainder of the race. Kenseth trying to get back on the lead lap. Bowyer only 15.7 seconds now behind Dale Jr. He's picked his pace up a little bit. Kenseth to the inside of Earnhardt through turns 3 and 4. He'll clear him. So now Kenseth's back on the lead lap as well. 40 laps to go. I think it's supposed to get up to 99 either on Tuesday or Wednesday for me again this week. I haven't checked in a couple days. I can't remember what day it was, but it was one of those 2 days. Bowyer must have had a setup, a stack up or something, because now he's only 20.3 seconds ahead. Dale Jr. up the track. Bunch of lap cars underneath him. He's just going to lift and let all those cars go. The 120 almost ran into the back of Dale Jr. Jr. lifting to let these guys through. 120... I would assume is probably on the lead lap. He's second in points. I don't think Junior's worried about that right now. He just doesn't want to be involved in an accident, because if he gets involved in the yellow, he can't pit for fuel or tires. He'll be on older tires as well, and there's no chance he's going to be able to hold on. Sacrifice you're willing to make, hoping it stays green, because obviously the more cars that get back on the lead lap, the further back Junior's going to restart even on fresher tires. More possibility of losing more positions. He does get back to the inside of the 120 again off turn 2. Him stacked up behind those other lap cars in front of these two. And Junior got to clear him. He's going to put him a lap down again. And as they battle too, the 81 also going to get held up more, and Bowyer will continue to close. Junior looking low underneath the 117. Surge of momentum contact, though, going into turns 3 and 4. The 120 back underneath him. Side by side, Junior going to hang on to the outside off the exit of turn number 4, even on older tires. Down into 1 and 2 they go. He's going to get passed again. 35 laps left. And again, the 120 car back on the lead lap. Had a good streak going there. That was the first time in a couple days I've seen that in the chat. Time to start a new streak. 34 laps to go. Oh no, I hit Wade? I might have accidentally reported him too. I really hope I didn't. See what the bots mess up, man. Sorry about that, Wade. Hopefully you're able to chat again. Should not have paused at the middle of the corner. Almost got in the wall because of it. Wade, try to put a message in the chat again just so I could see you. I did not mean to do that. That's not good. He hasn't responded yet. You gotta be joking me. If I could report him, he disappears, but when you report the bots, they don't disappear. That doesn't make any sense at all. They were spamming so quick, I couldn't... I was trying to click on one of them and clicked on the wrong one. That's... I'm upset with that, because that's just... Jesus. Well, hopefully you can see the finish of the race nonetheless, but hopefully you can get back in the chat too. 29 laps to go for Dale Jr. trying to win this race on fuel mileage. Kenny Wallace in the 22 was the first car 1 lap down. He's closing in on Dale Earnhardt Jr. to try and get his lap back. Junior to the inside of the 120. Hamilton in danger of losing a spot to Wallace as well. He's gotten around Dale Jr. 2 times now, but Junior's still keeping up with him at least. And it looks like Junior's going to get back around him, though he clipped the apron in the middle of 1 and 2, got a little loose. And Kenny Wallace going to get back on the lead lap. And as well going to get around Hamilton in the 120. Junior did a great job hanging on to the race car. Shuffled all the way towards the bottom lane. "25 laps to go." We gotta try to make it up to Wade. I wonder if I add him as a mod, if he's able to come back. Having some issues in the chat, unfortunately, but 24 laps to go. Regardless of the fact, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads by about 16 seconds over Clint Boyers, getting passed by lap cars on fresher tires. Does Dale Jr. have enough fuel to make it to the end of this race, though? Just hit the quarter tank mark. Nathan Elliott, welcome to the stream. Junior has just clinched the most laps led that last time by, all on this fuel strategy with a pretty big lead. If he runs out, he definitely will not win and may not even get a good finish with it. Handful of cars back on the lead lap, unlapping themselves from Dale Earnhardt Jr. I'm sure if he could create another account, he may actually be able to come back, but that kind of stinks that he would have to do that too. It's just messed up. Derek Booth doesn't think I'll make it on fuel. 20 to go. This is going to be interesting. Right rear wearing out right now on Dale Earnhardt Jr. as well. Didn't want to go 3 wide into turn 3, backed out of the gas. Let the 120 and the 6 of Aaron Crocker go. John Hamilton on the outside. Oh, Crocker gets up into the 117 car just a little bit. A bit of a stack up with those cars on the outside. And Junior making a few passes, it looks like. Everybody staying to the outside. All of a sudden, he got into Crocker. Crocker's on the wall off turn 4. They did not wreck. They're still crashing into one another back there, crunching into one another. No crashing going on. So we continue to stay green. Michael Jourdain Jr. going to get back on the lead lap. He may be in the top 10. Junior needs it to stay green. Wouldn't be able to pit for fuel or tires if we did see a caution anyway. Then he'd be left out on older tires trying to hang on for the win. Less than 15 seconds ahead of Bowyer. Boyer's going to have to be about a second a lap faster. He's going to want to catch Dale Jr. for the win. Dale Jr. underneath Michael Jourdain Jr. Jourdain Jr. going to cross over Dale Earnhardt. Earnhardt to the outside in 3 and 4. 10 going to clear him. He never really had to back out to let the 10 car completely clear him off the exit of turn 4. Moment of truth time is coming up. Junior, no! He crashes into the inside wall and gets cleaned out by a couple other cars. Overdrove the corner going into turns 3 and 4, and we have our third yellow of the race today. That was the worst thing that could have happened. Big hit for Casey Kane. And even Junior's teammate, Martin Truex Jr., was also involved. Shane Meal was on the outside of Kane when Kane tried to go up the middle to clear Earnhardt. Junior will have to pit to repair damage. And he's got more cars coming onto pit road behind him to take on fresh tires. Junior cannot pit for fuel or tires, and he has 8.6 seconds of damage. Oh my goodness. How many of the lead lap cars just pit? There's a few of them on pit road. Damage repaired as much as it can be on the 81 of Dale Jr. I'm not sure where he is going to restart, but it looks like Kenny Wallace will be the new leader late in this race. All the lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars for the restart. 10 laps to go. If we get another caution, the lap cars will be behind the lead lap cars. Dale Jr. trying to get up to speed right now in the 81. Got back down to the bottom pretty quickly. Lap car up high. Oh, contact! Junior with an aggressive move to try to get to the bottom. His tires are absolutely shot right now. Now he slides up into the 10. Martin Truex Jr. is going to get his lap back in front of the field. Team orders for Truex to allow Dale Jr. to get underneath him. Contact! Oh no! Truex gets ran out of the way by his teammate Earnhardt. Kenny Wallace runs into the back of the 81 trying to use the bumper. Junior got to the lead. Meals a lap down still. Kenny Wallace trying to get the lead back with 8 laps to go. Junior on older tires. Can he hold on? Kenny Wallace is in the wall. He overdrives the corner and Bowyer goes up the middle. I believe to take over second. Clint just pitted. He's got even fresher tires than everybody else in the field. I thought Junior was done after that spin. Will he survive on old tires in a damaged race car? 7 to go. This car is not handling well at all. That's why he keeps making contact with a bunch of cars. Kenny Wallace just made a mistake of his own. Giving Junior a little less pressure from behind. Michael Jourdain Jr. might be on the lead lap looking for the win. 6 laps left. Bowyer to the inside of Matt Kenseth. We know Kenseth and Boyer are definitely on the lead lap. I don't know about Michael Jourdain Jr. I think he is. Clint Boyer is up to second, and he's probably got about 80 lap pressure tires, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., 5 laps to go. If they battle for second further back, that can allow Dale Jr. to hang on maybe a little bit better. Jr. trying to win his 3rd race of the season. Boyer trying to win his 4th and go back-to-back. Dale Jr. to the outside. Boyer underneath him. Jr. got into the wall on the outside. He's going to send it into turns 1 and 2, and he overdrives it again. Big hit. And that is going to bring out another caution, and that might end the race under yellow. I think the left rear tire blew as well after the hit from Kenseth. He went for it into turn 1, and it would not stick. I pulled a Chase Briscoe. Oh my goodness. I don't know if we're going to get a restart or not, so Junior's going to have to pit to repair the damage. Clint Boyer had battled back to the lead after leading a lot of laps in the early going. It took a couple late yellows to do so, but Dale Jr. cannot hang on. And we still don't even know if Dale Jr. can make it on fuel to the end of the race. Green flag back in the air. Green-white checker, 2 laps to go. Actually, 1 lap. A 1-lap green-white checkered finish. Final lap of the race. Junior in 6th. Oh, no cautions on the final lap. He gets up into the wall again with a lap car on the outside. Clint Boyer is going to hang on a green-white checker, and he is going to win back-to-back races at Dover. Jr. was able to make it on fuel to the finish. Probably was able to save with those 2 cautions. Still finishes 6th. But a win will not be the case for him today. A Clint Boyer has now won his 4th race of the Busch Series season. Wild finish to say the least at the end. 6 cautions for 18 caution laps, 15 lead changes, 0.2 of a second margin of victory, 120.54 miles an hour is the average race speed, hour 39 minutes total time on today's race. Clint Boyer led 42 laps from 5th starting place to win. And he is the points leader coming in, so unfortunately Dale Jr. going to lose points to him today despite finishing 6th. Matt Kenseth ends up finishing in 2nd place. Didn't lead a lap. Michael Jourdain Jr. led a couple at the end on the restart. And Truex kind of held him up, allowing Jr. to get back to the lead initially there. Good run for Michael Jourdain Jr. finishing 3rd. Kenny Wallace ended up 4th, led some laps early in the race. Shane Meal rounded out the top 5. And Dale Earnhardt Jr. ended up finishing in 6th. Despite leading 91 laps today, which was the most, so he did get 10 bonus points. Bobby Labonte finished 7th. He was the first car a lap down. Only 6 cars finished on the lead lap. Jamie McMurray, who was awful all day, somehow got up to a top 10 finish, finished 8th. Irvin 9th. And Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 10. Lost a few spots on that last restart, but nonetheless, both Chance 2 Motorsport cars finish in the top 10 2 straight races. We'll see who all DNF'd today. Through the 6 yellows, a few engine failures. Marshall and Traeger DNF'd. And those were the only 2 drivers that failed to finish the race today. Leaving for Nashville tomorrow? Awesome. We'll check out the point standings. I believe Boyer gained a little bit, or pulled away a little bit from Dale Jr., because I think he was the points leader coming in. So no faring well for Dale Jr. on this short track today, unfortunately. At least with the sake that he had a shot to win. Cautions kind of took the fuel mileage race out of it again at the end. It was going to be interesting to see if it stayed green, if Junior was going to have enough gas to make it to the end. He was able to save the 2 yellows late in the race. The unfortunate side, he was involved in the 2 yellows, and that sent him back to 6th anyway. Dodge Motorsports 300 at the Dodge Raceway is the next race of the Busch Series season, a little bit later on in the week. Another short track on the season, so Junior may have a potential to have another good run. Smallest short track, that's going to be brutal. Thankfully, Wade Solinsky is back in the stream. Oh, that made my day, honestly, Wade, that you made it back in the stream. I thought I accidentally banned you. I granted you a mod with my mistake. Accidentally banning you for a second. I didn't think you were going to be able to come back again. I was like, well, maybe if I add him as a mod, he's able to come back. I meant to ban the bot, and I accidentally clicked on you. I didn't realize I did it until R6 said something in the chat. Clint Boyer, 149 points ahead of Shane Neal now. Martin Truex Jr. up to 5th in standings with another top 10 today. He's 212 out of 1st. Dale Jr. went in 11th, finished 6th, still 11th in points, and he's 347 back. So, I mean, 3 races ago, I was 369 back, and after 3 races, I've gained 22 points on a net gain after losing points today to Boyer, despite getting a top 10, finishing 6th, and leading the most laps, getting 10 bonus points. That's how crucial it is to just run really, really well. It's going to be tough for Junior to dig himself out of this hole. Still hasn't been in the top 10 in points all year. And Michael Jourdain Jr., who was only a couple points ahead of him, also finished ahead of Junior, finished in 3rd today. So, no spots gained for Dale Jr., unfortunately. Well, that stinks. It's going to be interesting. 21 races to go. I'm probably going to need Boyer to DNF at least once, maybe twice, for the end of the season. But he is on a hot streak right now. Before I get out of here, let me check. I know Boyer's won 3 races, but I want to see exactly how much of a hot streak he is on, because he is on a really hot one. Total team control. I'll look at my stats here in the Busch Series. So with Boyer's win today, he has 4 wins on the season. And they have all come in the last 11 races. He's got 3 wins in the last 9 races. 3 straight top 6s, though, for Dale Jr. So, I mean, yes, he's turning things around to try and get going forward in the standings. And has actually finished 9th or better now in 5 of the last 7 races with 1 win in that stretch at Richmond. But he's got a shot. His only 2 wins this year came on tracks less than 1 mile in length, and the next race is on a 3rd mile short track at the Dodge Raceway later on this week. Cup Series race tomorrow on the channel for NASCAR 06 and our Do It For Dale Cup Series edition. Trying to get him his first Cup Series championship. 400 laps, 400 miles at Dover. I don't know. I couldn't survive 200 laps earlier today. I did in the sense I finished 6th, but I did not win the race, unfortunately, when I had a good shot to at the end there. Hopefully, Dale Jr. can have a good run in the Cup Series. He's 2nd in points there. I'll try to take it back from our cousin Carl Edwards, who took the points lead back from Jr. in the last race. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a happy rest of your Father's Day. Again, have a happy Father's Day, all the dads watching out there, or not watching the stream, regardless of the fact. Make sure you say happy birthday. Make sure you say happy Father's Day to your dad. I'm going to get out of here. I'm rambling now. Thanks, everybody, again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night.